Mark Cameron, Global Brand Experience Director at Jaguar Land Rover. I head up our sponsorship properties in this context, particularly for Land Rover.
And what are your main targets and objectives within sponsorship in sport?
We've got a number of objectives, and I think clearly we have to sort of set those out at the start before we go after looking after particular rights. One of the things we did about 3 years ago, we looked at our target customer, what their passions and interests were, and how we could therefore reach them through those activities. And rugby, although we've been in rugby from the Land Rover perspective for about 20 years now, kind of reinforced the fact that our core audience has a passion for and plays rugby actually. So that's our number one sponsorship property and platform for the Land Rover brand globally. And then what we seek to do within that is build a pyramid structure of rights and associations. So the Rugby World Cup sits at the very top of that, obviously. And then at a country level, we have associations with some unions, with the Premiership, Rugby Championships, like the Aviva Premiership, for example, and the top 14 in France. And then beneath that, then we have some associations at the club level and also at grassroots level. So we've really tried to build a vertical structure in rugby for Land Rover in as many of our global markets as we can. And that's really just to reach our audience that are passionate about rugby and to our customers.
How easy or difficult is it to link the very top level of the sport, the really significant sponsorship propositions, to those on a grassroots level?
I think you have to work hard to do that. One of the things, for example, that we sought to acquire within our Rugby World Cup sponsorship was the unique rights of the mascot programme. So the rights for us to select the 90+ children that are going to hold the captain's hands in all those games in the World Cup. Linking those into selecting those youngsters from the various things that we do at grassroots and club rugby across the world is a really great way of actually connecting the two together. We then have our ambassadors, ex-players, some recently retired players, some coaches, referees even, and using them to sort of their knowledge and history to inspire younger generations through various programs. So we really try and work that hard, that connection. And then also beneath that, at a CSR level, one example is in the UK, we're supporting the Hits for Change programme that the Premiership Rugby operate. So again, it's using the ambassadors to inspire kids that may be disaffected, had bad luck in life really, to use rugby to inspire them. So literally from the Rugby World Cup right the way down to grassroots and CSR, we try and connect them.
And obviously all of that is a great indication that sponsorship is not just a case of handing over money and getting stuff in return. It's a real partnership and it takes hard work. Can you give us just an insight into how it works maybe on a daily or a weekly basis in terms of the relationship between a sponsor and a product?
Yeah, I mean, first thing I would say is that if you're building a robust sponsorship strategy, then it should endure. We've never been into things where you sponsor us for a year or 2 years even, and then come out again and do something else. I think you need to build your presence and relationships in a sport. For us in rugby, obviously the Rugby World Cup comes only every 4 years, so having the opportunity for us in the UK, for example, in England, for example, to have the Premiership week in, week out format of the game, and the same in France with the top 14, gives us the always on as a brand in rugby. And when you look at Premiership Rugby in England, the ability for us to have those Premiership clubs then connecting with their local retailers, Land Rover retailers, so on a real day-to-day level there's a connection there and they're supporting each other, whatever their community aspirations are, community rugby playing programs, that we have a connecting point, and that is literally day in, day out, as well as obviously the every 4 years of the Rugby World Cup.
Obviously, as you said, Land Rover has become almost synonymous with rugby, I guess, which is the idea, and hopefully it will continue to be involved in rugby for a long time. How has the approach changed over the years? Has it been a subtle shift, or has it changed quite a lot over the years?
I think as the media landscape's changed, that's probably been the biggest change. So, the rugby fan has always been there. How you reach them in an engaging way that stands out and cuts through has changed. Gone are the days where you develop a rugby campaign, or any sport for that matter, start with a TV script or some traditional form of advertising. I think now you need a big idea that fits with your objectives, and then you look at social media, digital, and how you explode it out through experiential, event-based programs, to make it really live that way. So that's probably been the biggest shift, is the way you then activate a sponsorship to reach your customers. And as their habits change with dual screening, and as I said, engagement in social media. And social media is really interesting because it's not just 13 and 11-year-olds that are doing that. It's 30, 40-year-olds are very active. Subtly different in terms of the platforms and the applications they use, but they're all engaging in social media as well.
And what are those numbers and those key performance indicators that you look at to measure the success of a sponsorship? I mean, it could be Twitter followers or Facebook likes, but it could be it could be different.
So again, using the Rugby World Cup as an example, in some countries where Land Rover is relatively new, like China, it's important for us, given the huge coverage that the tournament will have, is that the awareness. So how many eyeballs are going to see it? What audiences does the broadcast coverage reach? And we can value that, versus our display advertising around pitch side, etc. So that's one level. Then at the opposite level, for Land Rover in the UK, where we have a mature brand that's well known, it's about the customer experience. So we're working hard on plans for next year to really make sure that the customer experience for our customers is second to none and memorable. And that we know for a customer, for example, that might be on their third Range Rover, that's going to one of the games, that we maybe do something that surprises them. We maybe give them a surprise pickup from the station in a car. We give them a special upgrade of a seat or something at the game, or some special hospitality. So it varies everything from awareness right the way down to deep level customer engagement.